Hello everybody, welcome. I'm Beej, and today I have a video response for Etho and his Wilson project in his single player world. Um, Something you may or may not know about me is I'm in school for music, um, and for Etho's Wilson project, he's looking for sounds that correspond with each of Wilson's 5 emotions. And I've made some samples, but I'd like to go over these samples and sort of explain what I've done with sort of a music lesson, so Etho can perhaps make his own if he wants to go into it. But I'm just sort of gonna lay down the basics. Today, everything we're gonna be doing is in G major or G minor. Sort of the sadder half that I've made is all in minor. So in G major, the notes in the G major scale are G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. This is always set. The intervals here are always going to be the same, whether it's in C major, E major, F sharp major. It's always going to be a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. That's always going to define a major scale in whichever key. So, for G major, as well, we have the G major chords that we're going to be using. And a G major chord, I'm using triads, are G, B, and D. That's a G major triad. And I'll show you here. A G major chord also is comprised of a minor third interval, which is the interval between G and B, and a perfect fifth interval, which is the interval between G and D. Now, I'll go ahead and show you what a G major scale sounds like. Let me turn up my volume here. So here's a G major scale. Simple. You've all heard it before. It's just do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And a G, today we're going to be using only natural minor scales, as opposed to harmonic and melodic minor. But a natural minor scale is defined by flattening the third scale degree. In this case would be B flat, the sixth scale degree, which would be E flat here, and the seventh scale degree, which would be F. So, this is what this sounds like. So it has sort of a sadder mood to it. And so this is the happiest one. I have a G major arpeggio end chord. Also, I have all the note blocks except for the scales over there marked down with their notes and how many taps it takes to get to those notes. So, this is what this sounds like before I explain it. This is going to be the happiest one. And it's just a simple G major arpeggio and chord. An arpeggio, as opposed to a chord, is basically a chord taken, it's stripped down its component parts and played sequentially. So a G major scale is made up of G, B, and D. A G major chord is made up of those notes, and played sequentially it sounds like this. And then at the end here I have the chord with the high G and a low G. So that's the root of the chord, the G. So it's G, B, and D, and then the high G as well. And so the next one I have is a major third. Now what makes a major chord different from a minor chord is the third. This is talking about triads. What makes a G major chord different from a G minor chord is the third. So a G major scale, or G major chord, G, B, D. To make it minor, you just take the B and flatten it, which means to use the key to the left or the key lower. So this is what this sounds like. This is the major third. So that's the most stripped down version of anything major. So next I have the neutral, which is comprised of major second intervals, which is just the G and the A. The A is scale degree 2 of a G major scale. So let's hear it. So nothing particularly crazy, just it sounds very neutral. So that's what we're kind of going for with that. This is the minor third intervals. This is the most stripped down version of anything minor when it comes to chords, at least. And like I said earlier, a minor chord is defined by having a flattened third. So let's hear what this sounds like. Okay. And then here we have the saddest one, which is a G minor arpeggio end chord. So like I said earlier, arpeggio is just taking a chord and stripping it down to its component parts and playing them sequentially. So here we have the G, the B flat, and the D. And then at the end we have the high G, and then G, B flat, and D. And that's what that sounds like. And then over here I have a little something extra. This is the minor second interval, which is just G and G sharp or A flat, depending on, that's sort of above the scope of what I'm going to be talking about right now, but it's depending on what you're using that note for. But anyway, it's just G and A flat. And this is what it sounds like together. Okay, and since they're so close on the keyboard, they make that kind of alarming sound that people would hear and kind of get scared. And also, this is what it sounds like when they're played sequentially. This kind of sounds like the Jaws theme. Anyway, so that's pretty much all I got. Hopefully, I was able to teach you something today, if anything. But I also have all the signs on the note blocks telling you how many taps for each note, and you can just copy and paste all that if you want to use this. But that's about it. Excited to see what see you finish Wilson, basically. All right, take care. Bye.